Hey everyone, for this episode of Adam Answers, I'm going to go to a question that we received by Facebook, My Blooming Heart Hypnotherapy. So I first wanted to just say thank you for sending your question. I really appreciate it. I am new at working with couples, and I find that I have to get better at acknowledging when they share something distressing about their relationship, but in the way that allows me to stay in the solution method instead of getting sucked into the problem. I think it was you or maybe Elliot who said in a different video that people want to feel heard and valued. I would love if you could record a video about that, how to help them feel heard and valued, but stay in the solution-focused method. So, this is a really valuable question. And I think one of the ways that we oftentimes talk about it is that we say you have to honor the problem while also staying close to where they want to go or what their desired outcome is. So oftentimes if we ask, what is your desired outcome? They'll say things like, I want to have peace, or I want to have confidence, I want to be free, I want to have courage, I want to be, and especially in couples, which this question is about, is like, I want there to be a connection. I want to feel like we have a relationship where I am respected and valued. So let's go with those two things for a second. I want to be in a relationship with a true connection, and I want to be in a relationship where I feel valued and respected. One of the things that they might do is they might share information about each other where especially they'll say, well, I used to feel like that, but I don't feel like that anymore because they cheated, or because we've lost a child since then, or because we've just kind of fallen out of love with each other, or some other really horrible, tragic thing happened. So how do you honor the difficulty that they're experiencing while also staying close to the solution-focused method? One of the things that you have to do is you have to pick up both sets of language. You have to say, man, I hear you. I can't only imagine how difficult it would be to be in a relationship where you feel like there's trust that's gone because of an affair, or I can only imagine how difficult it must be that you've lost a child. I'm so sorry to hear that you've lost your child in this way, and I can imagine that it must be really difficult. I'm wondering, since those difficult things have happened, since you have experienced things that I wish nobody had to experience, but since you've experienced them, if you were moving through that experience in a way that helped you to feel like you were getting that connection back, or if you were moving through those experiences in a way that helps you to feel like your partner really understands and respects you as a person and as a contributor to this relationship, what would you begin to notice that would let you know these hard things that have happened, they're no longer stumbling blocks, or they're no longer driving you apart, but instead you're moving toward one another. You're starting to feel this sense of connectivity. So we don't want to remove the problem language. I think sometimes solution-focused brief therapy gets critiqued because they say, all you do is focus on the positive. You ignore the negative. It's just a Band-Aid approach. And I would say that's actually not true. We actually realize that it's in the midst of these really hard things, people start to cope and discover their greatness and realize any hard thing could happen in our relationship, but I'm equipped to deal with. So we want to hold on to that problem language, and we just want to say, in the face of this greatest of difficulties, how are you coping? What are you doing to manage? What are you learning about yourself? So we can use the diamond, and we can use that language. We can shift into a history, and we can say, since you've been dealing with this for quite a while, what have you been learning that's helped you to get through day by day? Or we can shift it into a resource conversation, and we can say, since you've had to deal with such tragedy and such hardship, what are the things that you're discovering about yourself that you couldn't have discovered in any other way that's going to contribute to you having the kind of relationship that what's better about you now that you can bring to a relationship, that you can show to your partner, that you can say, look, I have grown because of challenges, and I'm excited to be able to share what I've learned and grown with you. Or we can shift into a future, and we can say, if the hardship and the things that you were learning from your hardship kicked in and you were becoming closer and closer to connection, or to a relationship where you started to feel valued and respected, but now you had all of this experience to draw on, what would you be most pleased to notice in your relationship? So we stick with the diamond. We use all of the same questions that we use, but in addition to that, we pick up that language about hardship and difficulty because we realize this is exactly where they learn how to become a person that's better, more able, more capable than they ever were before. We realize that these are the areas where they're learning to bring even a richer, more meaningful part of themselves to a relationship. So all we do is we stick to the diamond, but we honor that they had both challenges and perseverance, both difficulties and resilience. And we use both of those sets of languages side by side and in tandem, create a desired outcome description that is totally in line with where the couple wants to go. So hopefully that helps. I would love to hear your thoughts about that. If you have additional questions, please send them. I'd be happy to make another Adam Answers about it. But Blooming Heart Hypnotherapy, I hope that answers your question. Please let me know how we did.